Hi there, I'm Neil from Focus Bikes and I'm here to talk to you about the Sam2. So as Focus Bikes we've produced e-bikes for over 13 years as part of Derby Cycle Group, and we have our own systems. We also use lots of other people's systems on our e-product. So the Sam2 here is our enduro product launched in 2018. It's 170mm travel, 27 standard wheels. Reason for that being there's more tyre options and it replicates our standard enduro product. But there's a few key features on this bike I'd like to talk you through which kind of make it different from the rest of those on the market. The biggest one is the fact that we use our own integrated battery. So this is specific to all Focus products. So we have a different philosophy with our e-product. So instead of making batteries bigger and heavier, we've gone with the approach of making things lighter and much more like your normal bike. So we want to make the ride experience as close to your regular bike as possible. So we use a 358 watt-hour battery, which is a little bit less than standard, alongside the Shimano E8000 motor. So as far as I'm aware, we're still the only manufacturer that's allowed to use our own battery with the Shimano motor, and that gives us the main advantage of making it much lighter and much more integrated. So the battery is in here, in the down tube. 358 watt-hours gives you enough power for more or less 2 hours of riding, but it does depend on how you ride it quite a lot. You can extend the range by using a higher cadence and a smoother riding style. But if you feel you do need some extra range, there is a secondary battery pack which slots straight into the rails on here. That will then give you 716 watt hours in total. So again, it proves it's a very versatile bike. So you've got lots of range, but also a lightweight full enduro bike when you need it. The Shimano E8000 system we feel is the best mountain bike trail system out there. As part of Focus, we use lots of systems depending on which bike it is. So on a lot of our hybrid and trekking product, we use Bosch, we use Fazua on our lightweight product, and we use some of our own impulse systems. But for trail and enduro mountain bikes, we feel the E8000 is the best system out there. There's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly, is the way the motor is situated. Because the motor faces forward, it means we can use the same pivot locations on our e-bikes as we can our standard bikes. So again, that ensures the ride quality on our e-bikes is as good as it is on our standard product. The only difference in terms of geometry between the E and the standard product is that the bottom bracket is 5mm taller on the E product, and that's purely down to because of how you ride it, not for any other reason. We found that with a low bottom bracket, we were getting more pedal strikes. So on our E product, we decided to lift that up a little bit. Also, the Q factor, so the distance between the pedals, is exactly the same as a standard Shimano chain set. So again, you don't get the feeling of having your feet further apart. All the contact points are exactly the same as a standard bike. So your bars, your saddle, your seat, your pedals are all in the same location. And also the way the Shimano system feeds power in, we feel is the best option for an e-product. So Shimano's the first dedicated mountain bike trail system. It's not an adapted e-bike system. So in trail mode, it feeds power in based roughly on your power output. So it's a much more intuitive product for riding off-road. There's no lag on the system, so you don't get any of that weird kind of over pedal that you get on some other systems. It feels just like riding your bike essentially. So yes, that's what we do with that. We also have on this system, we have our own fold suspension platform. This is specific to us. This is our own suspension design. It's essentially a single pivot with a solid rear triangle, so it's very stiff, but it's a linkage activated shock. And what that enables us to do is to tune how the bike rides. So for the first 30% of travel, it's regressive, so that gives you lots of grip and very plush at the start of the suspension stroke. But once it gets past that 30%, it then starts to ramp up, which again means that it holds its position very well. So it sits into its travel really nicely and doesn't bottom out very harshly, but it gives you lots of control, lots of grip, and the ideal ride qualities that we feel you need on this bike. So as I said before, it's 170mm travel with modern geometry. So the reach on a size large is 450mm, so good length top tube. It has a 65-degree head angle, so again very slack, and a 75-degree seat angle. The reason for the steep seat angle is it just means it puts you in the ideal pedaling position because this bike is designed to go back uphill as well as really aggressively downhill. And then we spec these as standard with a 780mm bar and a 50mm stem. So this bike is perfect for enduro riders, so guys that kind of value downhill performance over other things. Obviously it goes uphill very well still too because it's an e-bike, but but it is an enduro platform. So the slacker geometry really helps with downhill stability. So the longer travel, slack angles and the steep seat angle means it's very good for technical trails, for some like really steep technical stuff like Warncliffe or Grenoside in Sheffield, or for guys that do the occasional alpine trip. This would work perfectly for that as well. And it's also really good for guys who race enduro but need a product to train on in the winter. So with one of our Sam Squared, it means you can maximise the amount of runs you get in a set time. So if you're the guy who races enduro and is tight for time, by riding one of these you can maximise the amount of time you get in for actually training your downhill skills. So if you're interested in this bike, they're now available at J. James. Just see the link below and that should give you all the information you need.